Hey everybody, there are some very interesting details that you need to know about the Antichrist and the beast of Revelation chapter 13 that I believe have been widely overlooked. Join me today as we discuss what nobody told you about the Antichrist. Hey, John Wiertzema here with Knowing the Times and Knowing Scripture. We are going to be discussing Revelation chapter 13 and the beast that comes up out of the sea and also the Antichrist. There are some very interesting things that you've probably read before, or maybe you just overlooked them. I think that we need to visit this again because it's so important to understanding the book of Revelation and the flow and the timing of the events that are going to happen in the near future. And we're going to be visiting passages of Scripture throughout the book of Revelation and in the Old Testament. And just as a encouragement, it's easy to get distracted. And sometimes the distractions aren't a bad thing. It's just we're going to visit passages to just get information that's important to the study that we are doing, but it's easy to kind of go off on rabbit trails, and maybe you hadn't seen certain things in the passages we're going to be visiting, and you want to investigate and explore that further. There's a time and a place for that, and we're going to be discussing a lot of those other details of prophecy in future videos. But my intention is to stay very laser focused on what it is we're discussing today, and that is, here's what nobody told you about the Antichrist. There are some fascinating things that I want to bring out into the open and get you to think about a little bit today. So let's begin. Revelation 13 verse 1, it says, "And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore." Okay, John's having a vision approximately somewhere around 94, 95 AD, and he's having this vision and he sees a dragon standing on the seashore. Now we know that a lot of the book of Revelation is figurative language. Some of it's literal. When we can take things literal, we like to do that. But obviously, he didn't see a literal dragon. This is figurative of something. And so, who is the dragon here? The dragon we find out the identity of in Revelation 12. "And the great dragon was thrown down, the serpent of old, who is called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world." So throughout the book of Revelation, the dragon is identified as Satan himself. Okay? So as we're reading Revelation 13, keep that in mind. The dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. "Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 diadems or crowns. And on his heads were blasphemous names." Okay, so the first thing I want you to notice is that we have the dragon, who is Satan, who's standing on the sea, on the seashore, and then we have somebody else, okay? This beast. The beast and the dragon are not one and the same, okay? So we know that this beast coming up out of the sea is not Satan. Satan's standing on the seashore, and a beast comes up out of the sea. We're going to investigate who this beast is. But for right now, just know this beast is not Satan. It's somebody else, okay? "But I saw this beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads." So we know in the book of Revelation, over in Revelation 17, that we have the description of this same beast. Over there, it says that it's a scarlet-colored beast. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that this beast comes up out of the sea. Okay? We have over in the 17th chapter of the book Revelation, and it says, and he said to me, the waters which you saw, where the harlot sits, okay, the waters which you saw, where the harlot sits, are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. So the water, okay, this is over in Revelation 17, where it's talking about the harlot, the great harlot, and she's sitting on some water. It says that those waters represent peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And a lot of people get confused because we have this, the waters identified as, people, multitudes of people around the world. Over in Revelation 13, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the beast coming up out of the sea is the same thing as the harlot sitting on the waters. And so they make the mistake of thinking that this beast is coming up out of the sea of humanity, the sea of people. Okay, that is a mistake. That is not the case. Let me show you why. In Revelation 17, the word waters is hudor in Greek, which that's the Greek word hudor, okay? In Revelation 13, the word sea is thalasis. Okay, so two different Greek words. So that's the first indication that they're not necessarily the exact same thing or representing the exact same thing, because, two different Greek words were used, right? And you have the picture in Revelation 17 of the harlot sitting on top of the waters. In Revelation 13, the beast is coming up out of the sea, from underneath, out of the sea. So we have two different images, two different figures, okay? So I'm going to show you in a little bit that the beast coming up out of the sea, the word sea here it's representative of the bottomless pit, and we're going to see that in a little bit. Then I saw the beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns, 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 crowns, and on his heads were blasphemous names. And we're going to come back to that in a second. The beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like those of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. All right. And the dragon gave him, the beast, his power and his throne and great authority. Oh yeah, this is important information here. But this description of the beast like a leopard, bear, and a lion, I don't want to pass over this without mentioning Daniel chapter 7, because this imagery draws us to a vision Daniel had. And he said, behold, or actually, let's go up here. He had a vision, and 4 great beasts were coming up from the sea. Okay? Now, we're not going to get into all the details of this vision. That's what I was talking about. We don't want to get distracted and get off track here and start investigating this vision. What I'm only trying to do is point you to the fact that in the book Revelation, when there's these description of a leopard, bear, and a lion, that there is a reference that we can go to in Daniel, and we can see that it was done on purpose, that it's supposed to draw our attention to Daniel's vision, because Daniel's vision is going to inform us about John's vision, okay? Give us more details. But I want to show you that the 4 great beasts that Daniel saw were coming up out of the sea as well. The first was like a lion, okay? Now, there's more details here we're not going to get into. He says the second one resembled a bear, okay? And there's more details about the bear that he saw. And another one like a leopard. Now I want you to notice that Daniel, in order, Daniel had the vision of a lion beast, a bear, and a leopard. Lion, bear, leopard. But in the book of Revelation, it's reversed. The beast which John saw was like a leopard, bear, and a lion. Now, I believe that that is significant in the fact that the leopard is the main characteristic because it's first. It's the main characteristic of this particular beast, the leopard. And then we have the feet like a bear and the mouth like a lion. Now, when we go back over to Daniel 7 and we see these beasts here, these beasts are representative of empires or kingdoms that existed in the past. And all through the book of Revelation, Daniel's visions, signify that a lot of these creatures and beasts, and even the statue that he saw, the head of gold, and so on, that they all were representative of kingdoms or empires that had existed or did exist at the time. And so this is no different. The lion represents the kingdom of Babylon. Okay, the bear represented the kingdom of Medo-Persia, and the leopard represented the kingdom of Greece. Okay, and again, this is another video. I'll go into all the details about why that is in another video. But right now, I want to hold your focus on the fact that the beast in Revelation 13 has descriptive elements to it that are supposed to draw our attention to Daniel's vision. And these are not insignificant things, okay? That this beast looked like a leopard. Primary attribute looked like a leopard, okay? That is supposed to draw our attention to the Grecian Empire of the past. His feet were like that of a bear, the Medo-Persian Empire, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion, the Babylonian Empire. And it's significant because this beast is a beast which comes out of the sea in the last days. In fact, real soon, or right before the middle of the last 7 years. And I'm going to show you that as well. But the dragon, which we know is Satan, as soon as this beast comes up out of the sea, the dragon gives him his power and his throne and great authority. Now, why? Why does Satan give this particular beast, all this power and authority? Well, there's a reason. If you ever notice, Satan is the god of this world. He is the head honcho. He's the one who's the head of all his, satanic activity or evil. But he has fallen angels and evil spirit beings that he uses in his hierarchy, if you will, to reign over kingdoms of the world. And we see that over in Daniel when Gabriel was sent to answer Daniel's prayer. Gabriel said to Daniel that I would have come sooner, but the prince of Persia withstood me for, I believe, 21 days. And then he said, and when I leave, I go to fight with the prince of Persia, and after that, the prince of Grecia will come. And he's not talking. Gabriel was not talking about human, princes or kings or emperors. He was talking about spiritual, because, Gabriel is an angel. So he's dealing with spiritual entities in the spiritual realm. And those entities are rulers that are set up over particular empires or kingdoms or nations. And those entities are put there in place by Satan himself as like his hierarchy. Okay? And this beast is no different than that. Okay? This beast, which looks like a leopard bearing a lion, Satan, the dragon, gives him his power, his throne, and great authority. So this is no different than what he has done all throughout history, in the fact that he sets up, these spiritual fallen angels in places of authority over kingdoms and nations and so on. And so here we have this happening in the last days. But it says here in Revelation 13, verse 3, and I saw one of his heads, one of the 7 heads. So remember, the beast here having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 crowns. So the 7 heads, it says, I saw one of his heads as if it had been slain, and his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth was amazed and followed after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, Satan, because he gave his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to wage war with him? Okay, so this beast has a war footing, right? I mean, he's not there to create peace. He's there to create war. And that is why the people of the earth who actually see him, okay, by the way, which is another thing we're going to get into, they say, who is like this beast? Not talking about Satan. They're talking about who is like this beast and who is able to wage war with him. Okay. A couple of things. Okay. Typically when we're studying Bible prophecy, you're going to hear a lot of people indicate that they believe that this beast represents the Antichrist himself. That this beast is a human being that's being referred to, and that this beast is the Antichrist. I'm going to show you today why that is incorrect. That is not correct. This beast right here is not the Antichrist. 100% for sure, and I'm going to show you in Scripture why this beast is not the Antichrist. This is very important because I think the majority of prophecy teachers refer to this beast as the Antichrist, as a human being. And this beast is not a human being. This beast is a fallen angel who Satan gives his authority to, and he comes out of the sea, okay? Not the sea of humanity, as we said earlier, the woman sitting on many waters, and those waters represent nations, kindreds, and tongues, and so on. This is a different imagery here. This beast comes up out of the sea.